Greetings. Welcome to another entry into Autoforge's development. So I've been working on some combat related stuff, and I kind of just wanted to throw out there what I've been doing, the progress I've made. So one thing that I knew I wanted to do is set up a good method to be able to detect collision or hitboxes between the player and the monsters, or vice versa. And so I started digging into that and discovered quickly that I needed to implement what's called the Separating Axis Theorem, SAT, which I won't go into details about, but essentially it allows you to detect if two rectangles or just polygons are overlapping one another. And so you can see over here that I have these two rectangles that turn red whenever there is collision, and so that was what I was using to kind of detect things. And then you can also see I have a bunch of debug information being drawn around my character here, and that is for the separating axis theorem as well. These little green boxes are the corners, and then there's a green box right on my arm that's the pivot point. This blue rectangle, you can tell, is definitely wrong. There's some bug with like the if the origin is changed, it doesn't like properly calculate how that should be set up. So I don't know what's going on with that, and I didn't really care yet. So combat. I figured out how to get this set up nicely. And one really cool thing, kind of side note here, if we open up our character, actually, let's go to our character arm. I should have had this open earlier. Sorry. Let's go to stretch. Here we go. So I have on our character or wherever this little hitbox. So if I open up this slice and look at it, we can actually see that it's called hitbox and it has these bounds. And then if we jump over back to the game, we can see these green dots kind of line up with that. And one cool thing is if we go in here and change it, save it, go back to the game, we can see that it changes immediately in the game. So that's one cool thing about using A-sprays, that we can now have our hitboxes. So now that we have all of that working, we can now see if I click it properly, like we pull back our sword and we swing it, and that's using our tweening. And then it will actually, like if I get over here, you can see it's not quite hitting it. Just a little bit more. And you can see now that it does detect that there is some collision between the sword and this these green dots around the little blob denotes or like indicates where its hitbox is. So we can see we hit it and it flashes for a moment, and I think one more hit and it'll actually like kill it, which does destroy the entity. And right now there's no animation or anything, it just destroys the entity immediately. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I have support for other weapons. So we can see here's our greatsword, and I just finished kind of implementing that where you pull it back and then you swing it. There's still a little bit more work to be done, but it's looking okay. So you can hold it. That was kind of weird. I don't know what's up with that. It's okay. Still figuring out the kinks there. Probably should lock the player's location or direction so they can't turn around at that point. And then we also, whoops, not sure what happened there. Let me open the game back up. We have two other weapons here that I've not implemented, so these are not done at all. We have this little crossbow that I was going to add in, and then also this or the previous one, I forget what it's called, is some type of crossbow, a bow, and then a crossbow. They will work slightly differently. This crossbow will have multiple shots, like maybe an ammo of like 5, whereas the other one has an ammo of 1, but it's much stronger per hit. So yeah, that's the combat so far. There's still a lot more to be done. A lot of polish and just cleaning things up, but we are making some progress overall. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you before too long, I'm sure.